welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rachel. Today I'm going to be doing my contour and highlighting video for you. If you haven't seen my last two videos, I'll link those in the description box, so I'll get right on into it. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, so I just washed my face and toned it and I put on moisturizer, but I'm going to go ahead and put on another layer of moisturizer before I put on my foundation because my skin tends to get a little dry, especially in the winter, so I just like to go ahead and make sure I have a good base. So the moisturizer I'm going to be using is Neutrogena Naturals. It's just what I picked up the last time I was at CVS. I really don't have like a specific one that I always use. Okay, and now that's on, I'm going to put on my primer. And the primer I use is the POREfessional by Benefit. I really like this. It's mattifying and it helps to fill your pores. I just put it on my T-zone, so like my forehead right here, my nose and the sides of it, and then my chin. Okay, now it's time for foundation. And the foundation I'm currently using is this one by Nars. And it's All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. It's the color Light 2. I could honestly probably use Light 1, but I like to just go a little bit darker and then bring it down my neck because I find that the lightest shade, just like in any type of picture, completely washes me out. So I like to not exactly go my true shade. Just put some on my finger and dot it around my face. And if I was doing like a light coverage today, I would probably just do these 4 dots, but I'm gonna do a little bit more of a fuller coverage today. And then I'm just gonna buff that in with my beauty blender, and I'm bouncing it into the skin. Okay, and that's the foundation on, and this isn't, I would say this is about like a medium coverage. I still have some spots that are showing up, but I don't prefer full coverage. It's just a bit too much for me. I prefer to do like a medium coverage and then build it up with my concealer and everything. So now I'm going to move on to concealer. And the concealer I use is the LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this is in Porcelain. So I do it pretty thick here, as you can see. I do it under my eye and swooped out to about where my eyebrow would go, and then down my nose and down to about here. And then I'm going to do it on my forehead, my chin, and my nose. And so the reason I do this is my forehead is about normal size, so I like to just brighten up this area right here. If your forehead was smaller than mine, you might want to do even more than this on it. And if your forehead was bigger than mine, you might want to do just a little bit or maybe not even at all. My chin, about the same thing. So I like to bring a little bit of attention to it. If you have a bigger chin, same thing, maybe a little less. If you have a smaller chin, maybe a little more. And then with my nose, everyone's nose contour is not going to be exactly the same. I do mine in 2 steps. I don't do it all at the same time. But so with this step, my bridge is skinnier than the tip of my nose. So I like to put this thick line down the bridge to try to even that out. And then I'm just going to blend this all in with my damp beauty blender. Okay, and that's the concealer I'll blend in. And then I like to go ahead and set my under eyes because they tend to crease. I really haven't found a concealer that doesn't crease under my eyes. I'm also not willing to spend like $30 on just a concealer, so maybe that's the difference, but I like to go ahead and set them to keep them from creasing. And to set them, I use the RCMA No Color Powder in Original. And I just take a little bit from the lid on my beauty blender and set my under eye. Okay, so now it's time for the contour. So on my cheeks, I like to go from a little bit above my tragus right here and go in. I do it above, I mean, I barely have any cheekbones, but if you can see like that's where it is, I do it a little bit above that so that when I blend it in, it doesn't go any lower. And that's just gonna help to lift your face. Okay, then I like to do under my jaw to try to help define that a little better because I don't have a super defined jaw like most women don't. So yeah, I just do it under here. And I fill in that area under my chin to try to cut back any double chin that might happen throughout the day. And then with my forehead, I just do 2 lines on my temples. It's kind of the same deal with like everyone's gonna be different. If your forehead is bigger than mine, you might want to do it all the way around your hairline. If your forehead is smaller than mine, you might want to do not even any at all. It's just your preference. Oh, and I forgot to say, this is the same thing, the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Warm Sand. I tried a few different colors in this and I've always just gone back to this one for my skin tone. You can just get this on Amazon. There's like a pack of 3 of them for like $8 or something. And then I blend all that in with my beauty blender. Okay, and now we're gonna do the nose contour, and this is a little more complicated and everyone's is gonna be different, so you kind of have to look at your nose and just like use the basic tips, which is highlight where you want to bring attention and to make it look bigger, contour where you want to take away attention, make it look smaller. So the tip of my nose, like I said earlier, is bigger than the bridge of my nose. You can already see from the highlighting it looks a little bit better than when I didn't do anything, but I'm going to go ahead and carve out right in here to try to make that look just a little bit smaller and bring it down in here to try to mimic actual shadows. And then I'm also, some people would say if you have a nose like mine, don't contour on the bridge, but I find that it just looks like it's just dark here and then, you know, it brings more attention to that. So I go actually on the outside of my bridge and bring it all the way up to here. So that kind of makes it look like this is where my nose shadows are, not here. So I do it under the tip, try to lift that a little bit. See how it looks like this is the end of my nose now? Then do a line about in there. Okay, and that's the tip. And we're all done. Okay, so the reason I do it up towards my eyebrows, that just kind of makes it look more natural. You never want to just have a line that just stops somewhere on your face. Okay, so I'm going to blend that in a little more carefully, but still with my beauty blender. Okay, and that is the cream contour on the nose done. It's nowhere near finished. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to powder contour. And I use this contour and highlight brush I got from Sephora, which is the 204. And first I'm going to be going in with this Sephora bronzer. I picked this up because it has no shimmer in it, and I just thought like it was a really good neutral tone. And this is medium 3. Pick it up on the sculpting side and go over where we did all those cream contours. Making sure not to blend too far down, more up, and going into my hairline. And making sure to bring this down my neck. Okay, so that's the first round of bronzer done. Then I like to go over everything with my Hoola by Benefit bronzer. This one's just a little deeper shade. I don't actually do this on everywhere that I did the Sephora bronzer. I mostly just do it on my cheeks and my nose and sometimes a little bit on. Okay, sorry y'all, my phone like completely freaked out. But what I was saying is I like to put this on my cheeks, under here sometimes, on my nose, and bring it up just a little bit, but not all the way, like I did with the Sephora bronzer. And this is just the original Hoola by Benefit. And when I do this, I kind of stamp it where I want it in a line like that, and then I buff it out. See how that really deepens up the contour? Okay, and that's most of the contour, or that is the contour done. Now I'm going to set everything with that same RCMA powder. I like to just put a little bit on my hand and then put it on with the Beauty Blender. So I like to carve out this area because I don't want it so like muddy looking. So I just stamp it right along where the darkest part is. Set my chin, my forehead, around my nose, and I like to kind of go over the contour too to lighten it up a little bit. You want to be careful of making the nose contour too harsh. And then I go over where I set my eyes earlier. And you'll notice that I'm lightly baking under my eyes and I'm pretty heavily baking under my contour. I don't always do this step, but if I'm going to be wearing my makeup for a long time or it's like some kind of really nice event, I usually will. So now I'm going to go over any spots if I have any with just this Cover Stick Concealer in Ivory. I want to say this is by CoverGirl. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up, but this is just like a thicker consistency and I think it works a lot better for any problem areas that you have. And then I'm just going to set everywhere that I put that. So just to like better explain what I'm doing, I set all the contour areas with that powder contour, and then but I didn't set any of the highlighted areas that I did with the cream contour, so I have to set them with a different powder, and I do it with translucent powder just so that, I mean, you know, it's translucent, so it's going to be your skin color. Because you never want to do anything cream or liquid and not set it, it just won't stay. So I'm going to brush away that baking. As you can see, that made a lot cleaner of a line. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight. I'm just using my Carli Bybel Deluxe Edition palette. I just like the colors in this a lot, so I'm going to be using this like rose gold color here. I'm picking it up on the other end of this brush and just doing it kind of in a V shape on my cheek and next to my eyebrow. I don't like to do this too extreme, but I think that, or I find when I don't do this, I miss it. I do my Cupid's bow. And very lightly on my nose, I do one dot. I pick up a little bit with my finger and do it down the bridge. And I don't like to do this too intense, but I do find that it does help to kind of make the whole contour and highlighting come together when you do this. If you like only highlight your cheeks or only your nose or whatever, it doesn't really look that cohesive, in my opinion at least. And then the last step for face is I'm going to put on my blush. I'm going to put on blush. This is by Nars. It's the that face. It's the Orgasm color. That's so awkward to say. I'm really sorry, but it's really pretty. It's just got kind of like a shimmer to it, and I put this on last because I remember I like read or saw a tip years ago to like highlight, contour, and then do blush because it helps to pull it all together and not look so stacked, I guess. And I like how it looks, so this is how I've always done it. So I smile and then pull it back. And then I like to do a little bit right over the bridge of my nose. I don't really know why, but I think it just all pulls together nicely that way. Okay, so that is my highlight, contour, total face routine done. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay, one thing I did forget to say is that I always set my face after I'm done with everything before I move on to my eyes. And I set it with my Urban Decay All Night Setting Spray, so I'm just gonna do that now. Okay, and this is the finished result. I just did a simple eye look with no eyeliner and just a ColourPop lipstick. So I hope y'all enjoyed my contour and highlighting video. This video was pretty requested, so I hope I did a good job of explaining everything. It is a little difficult because not everyone's face is going to be the same, obviously, so you're going to want to do different things depending on your face, but if you use the tricks and just know that you want to highlight, make it look bigger, draw attention, contour, make it look smaller or more defined, you should be able to get the hang of it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun doing this video and I can't wait to see you all again in my next video. Bye!